We all have friends, right? It feels like one of the most natural, basic parts of being human. But have you ever really stopped to think about how those friendships actually get built, how they work, or, and this is the big one, how they fundamentally shape who you are? Well, today, we're going to break down the very architecture of friendship.
This question right here gets to the absolute heart of it. We tend to think of friendship as this casual, easy thing. But what if it's actually one of the most critical tools we have for our own development? What if it's the scaffolding we use to build our entire sense of self? Let's dive in and see.
All right, so to get started, we need to be on the same page. What even is a friendship? Because it goes way, way deeper than just, liking someone or hanging out with them every now and then.
The magic word here is voluntary. Think about it. Unlike family, our friends are the people we choose, and that choice is built on this mutual foundation of trust, affection, and support. All of it is held together by the experiences you share. It's a relationship of equals, and it only works if both people are putting in the effort.
So let's break that definition down into what you could call 4 key pillars. First, reciprocity. That's just a fancy way of saying it's a two-way street. There's give and take. Then you've got emotional support. That's your safe harbor when things get rough. Mutual respect and trust, that's the bedrock, the feeling that someone truly has your back. And finally, shared activity. That's the engine, the doing part that really solidifies that bond.
So, how do we make the journey from, say, sandbox buddies to those lifelong friends you can call at 3 a.m.? Well, it turns out our friendships evolve right alongside us, starting from the very beginning of our lives.
This timeline is basically our roadmap. As infants, it all starts with parallel play. You're not really playing with someone, you're just kind of playing next to them. In early childhood, friends are just playmates. But by middle childhood, these deeper ideas like loyalty and trust start to matter a lot. And then adolescence hits, and the whole game changes. It becomes all about intimacy and using your friends to figure out who you even are.
This jump from childhood to adolescence is one of the biggest, most important shifts in our entire social lives. I mean, just think back to your own life for a second. You can probably feel that change, right? When friendships went from simple to complicated.
When we're kids, friendship is super practical. It's all about proximity and doing stuff together. It's like, you live on my street. You also like this cartoon? Great, we're friends. The entire connection is built on action, on the doing.
But as a teenager, everything flips inward. Suddenly, it's not enough to just do things with someone. What you desperately need is someone who gets you. Friendship becomes this intense space for emotional validation, for sharing secrets, for figuring out your identity. It's all about feeling seen and truly understood.
Of course, this whole developmental journey isn't some one-size-fits-all experience. The way we express friendship, what it looks and feels like, is massively shaped by our social context, especially by things like our gender and our culture.
Now, research consistently points to some pretty fascinating patterns. And let me be clear, these are broad tendencies, not strict rules. But often, female friendships tend to revolve around emotional intimacy and talking things through, what sociologists call face-to-face bonding. Male friendships, on the other hand, often center more on shared activities or side-by-side connection, forged over hobbies or projects. It just goes to show how social norms can nudge our connections in different directions.
Culture is another huge one. It's like it hands us a different blueprint for what friendship is supposed to be. In more collectivist cultures, for example, there's often a huge emphasis on group harmony and deep loyalty. But in more individualist cultures, things like personal fulfillment and just clicking over shared interests might be the top priority. And that affects everything, from how we talk to our friends to what we feel we owe them.
This brings us to the most important question of all. Why does any of this matter? Well, it matters because our friends aren't just companions we have along for the ride. They are active architects in building our very identity.
So how exactly does that work? You can think of it in 3 big steps. First, friendship is like our own personal social lab. It's where we get to practice things like empathy and figure out how to resolve a conflict without a parent stepping in to be the referee. Second, our friends are our guides to all the unwritten social rules. And third, and this might be the most powerful one, our friends act as a mirror, helping us discover who we are by seeing how they see us.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? The process of trying to understand someone else is completely tangled up with the process of understanding yourself. They aren't 2 separate things. Friendship isn't just a nice little part of our development. It's one of the main engines that drives our development.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If our friends are the architects of our identity, the mirrors for our soul, and the training ground for our life skills, who would you be without them?
It's a powerful question, and it really drives home just how fundamental these chosen connections are to the person you are today.